Hello, this is Michael Paul with New Orleans Scottish Rite College. I'd like to do a video today on what I believe is the heart of our Masonic ritual, the legend of Hіраме. Around the world, there are many different types of Freemasonry. By that I mean the rituals that are used and practiced. While the words and activities of the craft degrees and the different rites vary, sometimes quite a bit, there is one common thread that runs through all of the various rites and rituals. That is the legend of Hіраме. Now, before I say anything else, I have to throw in a disclaimer of sorts. Some time back, I heard that a jurisdiction was thinking about removing the legend of Hіраме from their ritual. As surprising as that information was, the reason behind their idea was even more remarkable. I was told that the reason for wanting to remove this aspect of the ritual was because they could not establish if the legend of Hіраме was a factual historical event. I was stunned. It's a symbolic lesson. It is completely irrelevant if the story of Hіраме is fact or fiction. Freemasonry is not teaching a history class. The story is used as a vehicle to deliver the lessons of virtue and morality, the lessons that are taught of what is important, not the factual nature of the stories used to present the lessons. So with that disclaimer made, I'll continue with the story. The well-published story of Hіраме takes place at the time of the building of King Solomon's temple. We are taught that a great many operative masons worked on the construction of the temple. These masons were guided in their work by three grand masters, King Solomon, King Hírame of Tyre, and the lead architect Hiram Abbiffe. At some point, the three grand masters realized that a number of the craftsmen were performing their duties at such a high level of skill that it entitled them to special recognition. These craftsmen would be elevated to master craftsmen. Now in today's Freemasonry, if we receive a degree, an office, or a position of importance, we're honored by that advancement. But in reality, it means very little outside of our Masonic life. Our Freemasonry is speculative Freemasonry, and it's something that we do outside of our family life and chosen livelihood. This was not the same with the old operative Freemasons. Freemasonry was their livelihood. It was how they fed their family and paid their bills. Being advanced to the rank of master was a big deal. Not only did it mean an elevation in their social status, it meant a considerable pay increase. This advancement was a very important event in their life. When the news of the pending advancements was made known, we can assume that a considerable amount of excitement and interest developed. It's because of the importance of these advancements to the lives of those receiving them that some concern among the Grand Masters developed. It seemed reasonable to put to place some sort of security measure so that individuals of low moral character could not assume rank for which they were not entitled. It was decided that a secret word would be given to all new masters of the craft so that they could prove their rank by possession of this word. As a further security measure, it was decided that this word would not be given out to anyone unless all three Grand Masters were present and agreed to the investiture. The story goes on that three craftsmen obviously realized that they would likely not be elevated to a higher rank and were very unhappy about it. They wanted this advancement badly. So much did they want this advancement that they hatched a plan to steal this secret word, move to another area, and live their lives pretending to hold a rank that they didn't earn. They caught one of the Grand Masters alone and demanded that he tell them the secret word. Regardless of what they did, the Grand Master refused to give them this word. They became desperate. They made it clear to him that they were going to leave with either the word or him dead. At this point, the Grand Master had a choice. He could give them what they wanted, or he could risk death. Clearly, he took them seriously, as his final words reflect acknowledgement of what he knew could happen. And what happened next? Well, the ruffians made good on their threat, and they did kill him. For a moment, stop and think about what happened. There is something that I was taught in childhood, and most likely you have also been taught. It's that if I'm ever in a situation where someone threatens my life in a robbery attempt, I should give them whatever they want. Why didn't he? I was taught that nothing I have on me is worth risking my life. Why didn't he just give them this word and then he could go on with his life? The lesson of integrity is involved not because of a robbery attempt, but because of an agreement that was made. This Grand Master agreed that he would not give the secret word to anyone unless certain conditions were met. Had these craftsmen attempted to simply rob him of some money, then it's reasonable that he would have freely exchanged whatever money he had on him for his life. But what these men wanted was something completely different. They demanded that he violate an agreement, his word. Clearly, the Grand Master recognized that he was not in control of their actions. He could not make them spare his life or do anything at all. Taking his life was something that they would either do or not do, and he had no control whatsoever over their actions. The only thing in which he had total control was his actions. They could take his life, but they could not take this word from him. He could only give it, and that would be by his choice. The Grand Master needed to determine what was of true value to him. He knew that we all live and die, but he also knew that how we live is up to us. To be robbed of some coins is no dishonor, but what of violating his word? What was that worth to him? He did not agree to only give the word when certain conditions were met unless his life was threatened, or only on the third Tuesday of the month if there was a full moon. He agreed to not give it unless these conditions were met, period. If he gave the word to anyone and those conditions were not met, then he would be violating his word. It didn't matter if they offered him money, threatened him, or anything else. He would either keep his word or break it. In life, we can gain or lose material things. Because of the twists and turns in life, we can amass great wealth or lose everything we own. Many things can happen to us because we were either in the right place or the wrong place. But either we have integrity and honor, or we do not. We have it because it is our choice, and we lose it also by choice. Material things can be taken away from us, and we might have no choice in the matter, but not our integrity. We are the only ones who have the power to give away our integrity. The Grand Master knew that we all live and die. He also knew that all the magnificent structures that he helped create would mean nothing if his moral foundation was made of sand, void of integrity and honor. These men had the power to take his life, but they were powerless to make him live a life without integrity. This was the point of the story, to teach a life lesson of virtue and morality, not to simply provide a historical account. But we should not believe that the story ends there. The nature of symbolism is layered and often requires second and third looks to find deeper meanings. Just because we believe that we are acting with honor and integrity does not mean that this is actually the case. Let me give you an example. A story from New Orleans in the early 1800s comes to mind. There were two men who were standing outside St. Louis Cathedral having a friendly conversation. The two men were facing each other. One of the men felt a bit uncomfortable in his position and moved just a bit to the left to reposition himself. When the man moved over, the other man winced in pain and looked shocked. In a sharp tone, he demanded that the man return to his original position. The man who moved had no idea what the other was talking about, but he didn't like the tone of his voice. What neither man considered or realized was that the man who moved was considerably taller than the other man. In the position he was standing, he, unknown to either man, was standing right in a place where he was blocking the sun. When he moved a bit over, the sunlight hit the shorter man right in the eyes, causing his painful reaction. Neither man was of a mind to explain himself or ask too many questions of the other. Hot tempers took over, and the friendly conversation was replaced by a very heated, nonsensical argument. And then it happened. One man exclaimed that his honor had become compromised, and integrity demanded satisfaction. He challenged the other man to a duel. It was fortunate that neither man died in the duel, but one of them was shot in the arm. For the rest of his life, he lived a life with a useless arm as a result of the injury suffered in that duel. And for what? Honor? Integrity? One man moved a bit and the other man had sun in his eyes. For that you shoot at each other? What these men mistook for honor and integrity was pride, arrogance, and vanity. These vices were disguised as, or mistaken for, virtues. There was no loss of honor in what happened, and integrity demanded nothing in the way of a duel. We must live our lives with honor and integrity, but we must know what is a virtue and what is a vice disguised as a virtue. It's not always as clear as we think. If anyone has ever told us that being a Mason is easy, then they misled us. There will be times when it is very difficult to live up to our teachings, but as we are so often told, it's the journey that is most important, not the final goal. Thank you for watching. I hope this video has been of some value. If you like the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe to us. See you next time.